Hello everyone and welcome to lecture number 6. In the last lecture we have studied the Heisenberg, then we have Heisenberg that relation, and we have obtained the Heisenberg relation with respect to two electron system, right? So this is the lecture after your CIA 1. So let us recall some of the things. We are associated with magnetic properties, right? In the magnetic properties we have studied magnetic properties of a material. We want to study, we have studied small introduction with respect to diamagnetic, then paramagnetic. We have seen the small introduction with respect to diamagnetic, paramagnetic, and our core topic was ferromagnetic and antiferromagnetic, right? Our core topic was ferromagnetic and antiferromagnetism. That is ferromagnetism and antiferromagnetism. Our core topic is ferromagnetism and antiferromagnetism. The difference between the paramagnetic material, ferromagnetic material and antiferrotic material is nothing but the orientation in its magnetic dipole. The orientation in its magnetic dipole, right? This is for antiferromagnetism and this is for ferromagnetism and this is for antiferromagnetism, right? The orientation in its magnetic dipole, right? Magnetic dipole moments. These are nothing but magnetic dipole moments. These are nothing but magnetic dipole moments. We have also seen that from where do these magnetic dipole moments are originated. From where do this origin? We have also seen that from where do the magnetic dipole moments are originated, right? They are originated from, we have recalled, they have originated from two things. That is, nucleus is there, right? And electron is revolving in different orbits. One of them is due to this revolution. You will have such kind of magnetic dipole moment, and the another one is the electron is going to revolve on its own axis. That will also have magnetic dipole moment, and combining all those things, you will have a net magnetic dipole moment, right? This is what we have studied. Then we have taken the Weiss molecular field theory. We have studied Weiss molecular field theory. In that we have postulated, Weiss has postulated, we have studied that Weiss has postulated the Weiss field or the molecular field, the inside the material that is responsible for the ferromagnetic behavior. In Weiss molecular field theory, we have studied the relation between T less than Tf, T greater than Tf, right? So we have studied this in Weiss molecular field theory. In after completing Weiss, we studied about the system containing two electrons. System containing two electrons and singlet and triplet states. We have seen the arrangement, different arrangement. We have seen the different arrangement for the electron spins in singlet and triplet states. That is the next topic. And in the last lecture we have studied, Heisenberg spin Hamiltonian. In the last lecture we have studied Heisenberg spin and Hamiltonian. Means we have find out Heisenberg spin Hamiltonian. H spin is nothing but Heisenberg spin Hamiltonian. H spin is nothing but H spin. This H is nothing but the Hamiltonian operator, and that gives us the total energy of a system. This gives the total energy of a system, that is kinetic plus potential energy. So in our system it was 2 electrons. In our system it was 2 electrons, so we have obtained H spin is equals to minus of the summation towards the number of electrons. This is the generalized form, Jij Si dot Sj, where J is nothing but exchange integral. This J is nothing but exchange integral. This is exchange integral, and this Si and Sj are nothing but the angular momentums, right? Si and Sj are nothing but the angular momentums. Okay, fine. Now we want to study today. We will see the next theory, that is today we will see the next theory, that is Heisenberg exchange interactions in ferromagnet. Heisenberg exchange interactions in ferromagnet. That is Heisenberg exchange interaction in ferromagnets. Heisenberg exchange interaction in ferromagnets. Now what do we want to find out and what do we want to study in this? That we all know that in ferromagnetic material we have parallel aligned magnetic dipole moments. Parallel aligned dipole moments, right? We all know that in ferromagnet we have a parallel aligned magnetic dipole moments. Now we want to find out that what are the conditions that gives rise to parallel magnetic dipole moment. We want to study the reason for this and conditions. If these parallel magnetic dipole moments are aligning in a particular direction, then there has to be some reason behind that. Then there has to be some reason or condition behind that. For what reason these dipoles are aligning parallel to each other? For what reason these dipoles are aligning parallel to each other, right? In the last lecture we have found out the total Hamiltonian with respect to 2 electron or number of electron systems. We have taken sigma sign for number of electrons, right? Now to understand this concept, let us assume a 2 hydrogen atom. Let us consider 2 hydrogen atom, right? Let us consider 2 hydrogen atom. That is this is a I am giving a positive sign because it's a nucleus. This is B this is also positive. Now we will have a distance between the two nuclei is RAB, right? And the electron, both are having electron over here. This is 1 and this is 2, right? This is our assumption. We are taking two hydrogen atoms, hydrogen nuclei, and the distance between these two will be, right? This is RA1, this is RB2, this is R12, this is RB1, sorry, this is RB1 and this is RA2, right? This is just two hydrogen nuclei. A and B are two hydrogen nuclei and 1 and 2 are the two electrons, are the two electrons. Now, what happens? What is the condition? What is the condition? We want to study that what is the condition for these two electrons, for these two electrons, what is the condition for these two electrons to have a parallel spin? So what is the condition for these two electrons to have, what is the condition? We want to study what is the condition for these two electron 1 and 2 to have this kind of parallel spin, right? Because there has to be some reason between these two electrons to have a parallel spin. Now, as we know that we have RAB is nothing but the distance between the two nuclei. Now, the distance between these two nuclei will play an important or will play a major role in deciding the value or the orientation of this magnetic dipoles due to electron spin. This is we are talking about with respect to electron spin. Remember, this is due to electron spin. Electron spin. This is magnetic dipole. We are talking with respect to electron spin. Now, what is the condition to have this two electron to have a parallel spin? Right? Now, in the last lecture, we have discussed the formula that H is equals to minus of 2Je dot Si Sj, where if J is positive, then if J is positive, then it leads to parallel positive and negative value comes when you have a relation between JE and RAB by R3D. We will have a graph of JE and RAB by R3D. Now, this is one term, this is another term, right? Let us see the graph. And the second was J is negative, then it is having anti-parallel spin, that is antiferromagnetism, right? Now from where do this value of J is being coming positive and negative? Let us find over there. Now let us have a graph. Let us see the graph. The graph will show us a more clear picture. The graph of JE this is negative, here it is JE, and here it is RAB divided by R3D, where RAB is nothing but the interatomic distance, and R3D is nothing but the radius of radius of 3D orbital, 3D orbit. Here we have taken hydrogen nuclei, hydrogen atom, so don't confuse that why 3D orbit is been coming in hydrogen atom, because hydrogen do not have d orbitals, it will only have s orbitals. But this is just for, this is the ratio. In graph you will not find this is the hydrogen atom what we have considered, that is just for consideration, for considering only 2 electrons, because number of electrons it will increase, the system will become more complicated and that will have more complication to understand. So for simplification we have taken 2 electrons, but in this graph we will take the real material which we are going to study. The graph of this will be, I hope this RAB is clear, I am removing it. The graph will be something like this. The graph will be right, the value of this is Mn, this is Fe, this is CO, this is Ni. Now we can see when you will have, this is near about the value of 3, when the graph of J, that is nothing but the exchange interaction, is with respect to RAB by R3D is nothing but the interatomic distance and the radius of the 3D orbital. This value, when J is positive, you will have ferromagnetic behavior. You will have a ferromagnetic behavior. When this value is positive, this is for positive JE, right? This is positive JE. So when positive J is there, the value of j is positive when you have a graph of j with respect to RAB by R3D, then you will have a materials, you will have this materials behaving as a ferromagnetic materials, right? Ferromagnetic materials. So what actually does this graph explains to us? What actually this graph explains to us? It is actually explaining that if you have two atoms, if you have atom 1, atom 2, then the distance between the atoms, and 3D orbital radius, these are the corresponding factors. These are the corresponding factors. These are the corresponding factors. These are the corresponding factors which will going to define the distance between the two nuclei and distance between the two electrons, and it will have the change in the internal exchange fields. It will have the change in the internal exchange fields, and that will decide that both the electrons will have a parallel spin or anti-parallel spin. Both the electrons will have parallel spin or anti-parallel spin. Now, over here in this graph, there is one another point that is very much important. That is very much important to know about it is it is found that when the ratio RAB by R3D is greater than 3, when the ratio is greater than 3, then we will have J positive. If the ratio is slightly greater than 3, J is positive. Means we are having Mn is having the ratio of RAB divided by R3, that is less than 3. This is having less than 3. This all are having greater than 3. Right? So if you have a ratio of RAB by R3D, what is this ratio? This ratio is nothing but the difference between these 2 points, difference between the two nuclei. If you have two atoms, distance RAB divided by R3D, it's 3D orbital radius. If it is greater than 3, then it will behave as ferromagnetic. Then it is behave as a ferromagnetic. If it is greater than 3, then it will behave as a ferromagnetic material. If it is less than 3, then it will behave as an anti-ferromagnetic material. Now what happens if this ratio is greater than 3? If it is greater than 3, then it will allow parallel spin. If it is greater than 3, then it will allow the parallel spin. This will allow the parallel spin, right? Because to get the parallel spin, there has to be some specific distance between the two electrons. Because we know that Pauli's exclusive principle shows that no two electron can have all 4 quantum numbers same. If the two electrons are there near to each other, their spin has to be at least anti-parallel, right? So in order to satisfy those things, those conditions, Pauli's exclusive principles, right? This distance or this ratio has to be greater than 3 in order to get this parallel spin. Then only the value of JE, if it is greater than 3, then the value of JE will be positive. if the value of J is positive, right? So I think this is clear. Now, if we see the Hamiltonian operator, then what happens if the value of J is positive? If the value of J is positive, we have H spin is equals to minus J SI Sj. I am not writing here the summation sign because we have considered for 2 electron, and if this is positive, this is positive, this is positive, then H spin will be a negative quantity due to this negative sign, due to this negative sign, due to this negative sign, due to this negative sign. You see, due to this negative sign, the total Hamiltonian operator for the spin will be negative. So the minimum energy is there between the 2 electrons. Minimum energy between 2 electrons, which will allow them, this minimum energy, this negative energy is nothing but the minimum energy, will allow these 2 electrons to get parallel spin, to get a parallel spin, So this, in this way, this is the problem for 2 electrons. If we consider n number of atoms and n electrons, then we will have the formation of domains. We will have formation of number of parallel spins. We will have the formation of number of parallel spin in the particular direction, right? This is for when J is positive. Now what happens? This is for when J is positive. Now what happens when J is negative? If it is negative, then H, this value will be positive value, will be a positive value. Now this is the Hamiltonian operator. Now H spin, this is the Hamiltonian operator. This is the Hamiltonian operator. Hamiltonian operator gives us the total energy of a system, where total energy is nothing but a kinetic energy plus potential energy, right? So if this is positive, if the total is positive, then this will have a positive energy between them, and maximum energy will be in the repulsive form, though it will not have a parallel spin. It will have anti-parallel spin. It will have, this will have anti-parallel spin. This will have a anti-parallel spin, that is giving, that will give rise to anti-ferromagnetism. That gives rise to anti-ferromagnetism, right? So this is all about Heisenberg exchange interaction in ferromagnets. This is all about Heisenberg exchange interaction in ferromagnet. Don't try to forget over here that this is the exchange integral. J is exchange integral, right? This Sij is nothing but the spin angular momentum. This is nothing but spin angular momentum. Right? This is nothing but spin angular momentum. Fine. So this is all about the Heisenberg exchange interactions in ferromagnets. Heisenberg exchange interaction. Over here, in this theory, we try to learn that what is the reason for this what is the reason and what is the condition for which we will get parallel spin and we will get anti-parallel spin, right? What is the reason or what is the condition for which material we will get parallel spin and we will get anti-parallel spin, right? Okay.